More on the escalating trade tensions between the United States and China. I'm joined by Ronce Almond. He is partner and vice president at the Wicks Group. Secretary Powell, it's kind of a simplistic way of looking at it, but what struck me was that he said no one's going to put that at risk. It seems like with this back and forth, it could be put at risk. Give me your sense of what's happening now, because it seems like it just keeps ratcheting up and ratcheting up. Well, we just talked just a couple days ago. It's ratcheted up even more.
The speed of the events that are unfolding are quite astounding. I mean, if we look back about how at the timeline, back in August of 2017, Trump started walking down this path, initiated the 301 investigation. That report was issued on March 22nd. Within a week of that, he ordered that the USTR develop a proposed list that was published on Tuesday. And then, of course, we saw that China responded in kind on Wednesday with the $50 billion tariffs themselves. And then we saw Trump yesterday evening say, oh, well, $100 billion tariffs against China. So we saw this escalation. Of course, we saw China respond very forcefully today, saying at any cost we will respond as well. So yes, the speed and timing is just increasing and increasing, and we don't know exactly where it's going to stop.
Well, the interesting thing is, I heard one person on Wall Street today say that this seems like a mini series. You watch it every night, you're up and down and all these, and by the end of the week, you're just wrung out, you're exhausted by it all. And I think by Friday, we saw that with the markets. They cratered once again. You saw Larry Kudlow come out, you saw Steve Mnuchin come out, Navarro. It seemed like the administration was putting a lot of people out there to talk about this to try and calm the market down, but it didn't. How long can this continue?
Well, I think as long as Trump can, as long as his ego permitted to continue, I think that it's great that the White House staff is out there to massage the market and try to make them feel better. But at the end of the day, everybody knows that there's only one chairman of the board at the White House, and that's the president himself. And when he comes out and says at an event, well, $100 billion tariffs, and which directly contravenes everything that his staff was trying to say earlier, people are shaken by that, and they don't know what the final word's going to be, except that it's going to be Trump's word.
Larry Kudlow said, blame China, not Trump. It's interesting. You see this administration. We saw it with the phone call with Peña Nieto. You just have to go along with me about the wall. He pushed back on that. The Australian Prime Minister had a tussle with him on the phone. It seems as though Trump has this kind of posture with leaders and expects them to cave. But from a nationalistic standpoint, if you're China, you have to have the same sort of resolve that Trump puts forward. So in this kind of mano-a-mano kind of machismo, how do you find an off-ramp to get both sides to where they actually are talking?
It's very difficult. And I think part of the issue, and we saw that leading up to our discussion here, is that China and the United States occupy different areas in the global economy. The United States is an established advanced economy with a advanced technology and industrial base. China is a rising economy, a developing economy that's trying to achieve that same position. So there's going to naturally be tensions. And it seems to me that what Trump is saying, even though he's not very articulate in the way he's saying it, is that we need to acknowledge that tension and renegotiate the rules of the world, the rules of the road. But tariffs are some of the most blunt and mistaken instruments for trying to achieve that negotiation. So I think that it would be nice if both parties could just cut to the chase and say, okay, what are we really talking about here? Instead of shaking the stock market, threatening escalating tariffs, and undermining the faith in the global economy.